Hi everybody. I don't know if it's too much sun. Let's figure out if it's too much sun. Let's see if this visor goes this way, if it's better. I think that's a little bit better. I've been meaning to make this video forever, for probably close to a week, because the El Chapo trial was going on last week. All of the decisions and everything came down, and I wanted to talk to you guys about not necessarily the trial. I'll give you a little bit of a background on who he is, but considering this is a channel for wives and family members. Oh, hang on one second. I always forget that I have to turn on the comments. So let's see if this works. Hey, sweetie. Okay, there you are. Yay. I always forget that on YouTube Live now I have to turn on the comments. So I wanted, since this is a channel for prison wives and family members, El Chapo's wife had an extremely interesting reaction in court, and one that as a prison wife I could totally relate to, even though a lot of people said that it was a little odd. A lot of people that aren't necessarily involved in this type of lifestyle. So before I get started, I just want to ask, can you guys see me okay? Is it too much of a glare? Do I need to move the car? I'm in the driveway. I've been meaning to make this video, like I said, for a week, but things just got out of hand busy. So I figured while on my lunch break, I have a couple of minutes. Let's address this in real time while, okay, thanks. While the trial is still kind of relevant. You could see me perfect. Thanks, guys. So here's a background on who El Chapo is, and the story and the prosecution and the sentencing and all that stuff. So the headline in one of the articles I read said, prosecutors seized a sweeping victory over Mexican drug lord Joaquin El Chapo you guys, me and my horrible accents, but I guess it's Guzman, Lorea, Thursday, when a jury of 8 women and 4 men convicted the crime boss on all counts at his trial in Brooklyn Federal Court. After spending a marathon 6 days deliberating, the anonymous jurors unanimously decided El Chapo was the principal boss of the powerful and ruthless, here we go again, Sinaloa, I'm horrible with these words, cartel, triggering a mandatory life sentence. So again, not too interested in the case. I'm more interested in his wife's sentencing behavior during sentencing, because it was reported that shortly before the decision was handed down, the kingpin's wife, her name is Emma. I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name because I'm just going to butcher it and do it no justice, because you need a beautiful accent in order to say these names beautifully. But anyway, his wife, Emma, declined a tissue offered by a bystander in the audience. And then she replied to that person who offered her a tissue in Spanish, "I'm not going to need that because I'm not going to cry." Then, as the crushing for her verdict was delivered, El Chapo craned his neck to search for his wife in the gallery, in the sea of people. He nodded and gave her a reassuring thumbs up, and she responded in the same way. Before leaving the courtroom, she looked at El Chapo one last time and crossed her arms in front of her chest in a gesture resembling a hug. When she was offered condolences after the defeat, she replied, "Why? Nobody's died." Later, she bolted from the courthouse instead of walking out with the defense team, as she did all throughout the trial. And then somebody commented, this was a reporter, I'm sorry, this was her lawyer, "Emma is," and then he kind of hesitated for a second, "Look, none of us are children. We all knew that this day was coming. We were hopeful that it wasn't going to come," when somebody asked her lawyer about her stoic behavior. So here's my reply. I personally can relate, and I have a very different response than, or perspective, as this lawyer does. I think that I would have responded very similarly as she did, because here's my perception. Here's my perspective. I will never let them see me cry. I will never let them, well, I will try not to. Never is a harsh word, because I have cried in visit, etc. But I don't want the system to know that it broke me. So maybe she was raised very much like me, or she has a very similar perspective as I do, that behind closed doors, I will cry myself to sleep at night, but in front of those people, I will have to stay buttoned up. I will keep my composure, and I will never let them see me sweat, because I don't want them to see that the system that is set up and designed to break us apart and to tear families apart and to keep us apart and to punish us over and over and over again. Although it was not originally intended to be like that, I believe that that's what it has turned into, and that is what it's designed to do, and I will never let them win and see me sweat. So there's been times where, for example, my very first visit when I went to go see Adam where he is now, years and years and years ago, I had been doing this for many years. The people at McKean just didn't know that because this was my first visit there. So of course I had backup clothing in the car, etc. This is so long ago. It's back when jeans with like the flap pockets and the buttons on the back pockets were very popular. So I was wearing a pair of those jeans, and because there were thicker, bigger buttons on the back pockets as well as the normal 5-button style, I set the metal detector off. It was set very high then. And I said, and I was so nervous because I still to this day get nervous going through there because, you know, they hold the power. They can turn you away. They can deny you. And I spent so much money and so much time, etc., getting to visit. So I asked the one lady cop who's such a doll to this day. She's a sweetheart. And I said, can I go through it again? And she said, of course. And then the other guy standing there, who I don't even honestly remember who it was, and I don't think I've seen him since, but who knows? He goes, looks like Clausen isn't getting a visit today. And in my head, my thoughts were over my dead body. And so I turned to the woman, and after I tried again and it beeped, I said, may I go to my car and change? I have backup clothing in the car. And she said, of course. And of course I changed, and I was wearing just very plain pants, and I got through. But I was sweating. I was ready to have a meltdown and a breakdown because I had gone so long without seeing him. He had transferred. I wanted to make sure he was okay. And so I wanted to, in the moment, scream and cry and freak out and rip that guy's eyeballs out, because what a comment to make. But instead, I just said, may I please go to my car and change? I totally ignored the comment from that guy, and I moved forward. I'm not, and that is a minute example versus watching your husband get sentenced to life. But I won't let them break me. I will not let them see me break. And so this isn't like do as I do type of a video. That's just my personal perspective and my opinion on why she potentially could have been doing this, at least why I would have behaved the same way she did in court. Now, as a disclaimer, I know that there are probably dozens of reasons why Emma, was so stoic and reacted that way in court. But for sake of this video and for sake of our Strong Prison Wives and Families members and for my subscribers on YouTube, this is just what I want to focus on and how I could personally relate. I mean, there are for a gazillion reasons why she probably reacted like that. But the same goes, you guys, for you wear your emotions on your sleeve. I don't know where it stems from. I don't know if it was my upbringing, but if I'm mad, and I can't hide my RBF a lot of times, but with stuff like that, I just have to turn into an actress, and I do my best to not let them see me cry. I maybe potentially think it comes from also being a very shy person, because a lot of times shy people bite their tongue and are too scared or intimidated or timid. When I was younger, I was like this, to say what we want to say, to show how we truly feel. So it could just have to do with that. Your RBF is very real, as is mine. Sometimes I'll be on video calls and I'll get texts from my executive team, and they're like, fix your face, because sometimes I can't hide it. But in situations like this, I can definitely hide my emotions. Now, this is also the same reason why you will never catch me fighting with him over the phone or on visit. You'll never catch me picking fights with him. You'll never catch me complaining about the system unless it's done in a way that is said purposely to be overheard, such as, medical care in there is really bad. Do I need to call the attorney and make sure that you get treatment? There are ways that we adopt as prison wives to things that we choose to say to be heard and to not be heard. So, and again, believe me, we're all human, and I put on my poker face and I try my damnedest not to let them see me sweat. But at the same time, if a fight breaks out, not a fight breaks out as in a physical fight, I mean if Adam and I are disagreeing during visit, I'm not going to necessarily bite my tongue and not have my communication the way I need to. However, they will not know what's going on, believe me, unless my RBF is real. I know that there's been times where I've been in visit and my RBF was in full force and I sat there like this. So I'm sure they knew what was happening. But as far as fighting, as far as crying in situations like this, I get it. We're all very different. I know that I personally can get into a zone, and maybe it's not honestly one of my best qualities, but maybe it is. I don't know. And I can completely relate to wrap this all back together. I can completely relate to Emma, who is El Chapo's wife's behavior from that perspective and that point of view. And I guarantee she probably went home, shut the door, pulled the blinds, and bawled her eyes out in private, because this is not an easy life that any of us chose, including her. So, and I'm sure it's a little bit easier for her considering, you know, where she's coming from, but I can't say that because I don't live in her shoes. Anyway, I just wanted to make this video because I have, like I said, had it on deck for a while, and I wanted to get my thoughts out. I always try to totally know where you're coming from. I haven't talked to my significant other for some time due to lockdown, but oh, I missed it. If you could just put like a dot or something in there so I could finish reading that, that comment, I would appreciate it. The comments on YouTube Live go so fast. Yes. Okay. So you don't want him to see how upset this makes you because you don't want it to affect him in a negative way. And I've done that before. I mean, I always say this. Now, letting him see things and your emotions is very different from letting the system win, right? So I always use this perspective. If I'm not going to cry to Adam every single time I stub my toe, to use a metaphor. I'm not going to cry to Adam every single time that this is hard, every single time it's tough. But if it lasts for a while, or if it's something that is kind of a common theme that's happening over and over and over again and I can't get past it, then personally I will tell him, because I need to allow him to be that support system in my life. They've so much that's stripped from them. They're so emasculated in there in so many different ways. So I always think, allow him to be the other half and give 50% in our relationship as he can. Let him give 100%, because at one time somebody said a relationship is 50-50 and he turned around and he said, no, it's not, it's 100% by each person. So allow him to give as much of his 100% in this relationship as he can, if that makes sense. But I totally get it. Like if he's on lockdown for a couple days, I'm not going to cry and be like, it was the hardest thing that I ever had to do, and I don't know if I could never do it again, and I can't live without you, and it's really hard to breathe, and I can't get out of bed. Because that's just, I mean, there's nothing he could do to help you through that. It just makes him feel bad. I'm with you though. I leave a lot at home stuff unless I can't handle it. Perfect. That's the way that I choose to do it too. Again, there is no right or wrong way to navigate a prison relationship or a prison, having anybody that you love in prison, whether it be a mother, a father, a son, a daughter, an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, a friend, a pen pal, and then, of course, a significant other. So do the best that you can. That's just my perspective. Again, I don't know if it's right. I don't know if it's wrong. I don't know if it's a good quality or a bad quality of mine. I'm just responding to the article that I read about how Emma, El Chapo's wife, responded in court. And a lot of people with an outside perspective was saying that it was a little bit odd, maybe arrogant, maybe ignorant, maybe smug. Maybe it was all or one of the above, but from my perspective, you might consider me smug and you might consider me arrogant when I act like that, but I'm telling you as why I would do exactly what she did, and it's only because I wouldn't want them to see that they broke me or us. I will survive in the end. I'm a big girl and I can make it. So we can only do our best within the life we choose to live. I love that you, Amanda, put choose in all capital letters, because we, again, cannot punish our loved ones for it being hard on us. Okay. We have to make sure that they're not using and abusing us. However, we choose to stay here every single day. So if it's hard and you need to leave, you need to leave. If you want to stay, we got to pull up our big girl pants, and we have to kind of deal with it. Again, within the parameters of being respected, treated appropriately, and not being used and abused. So thank you. I totally agree with that. I love that comment. Does anybody have anything else before I get going? Because I have to get myself back to work. I love doing live videos, and I haven't done one in a little while. That's right, absolutely right. Thank you, sweetheart. With you there. Okay, let's see if I just want to touch on any of these comments. Everyone's basically agreeing, so I love that we're all on the same page. Even if we're not all on the same page, different strokes for different folks. We all have different opinions, and that's what makes the world go round, as long as we can respect one another. So you guys keep staying strong, keep loving strong, keep supporting one another through this journey, because you're one day closer to it all being behind you. Lots of love from my heart to yours. I will see you, beautiful ladies and gentlemen, in the next one. And I'm telling you, I have a ton of fun videos that I filmed that are coming up over the next week or two while I was away at visit. So look for, they're not necessarily vlogs like the first one I did, but lots of fun information that I decided to share while I had those few days by myself, and wanted to utilize that time to prepare to spend it with you guys. So I'll see you in the next one. If you guys need me, make sure you email me any thoughts, suggestions, comment on this video below with your thoughts. And make sure, you guys, if you could do anything for me, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already subscribed, so YouTube knows to show other prison wives and family members who need to see this content, who need the support, that these videos are out there for them. Love you guys.